Santa Cruz. We are your new podcast. Go ahead and tell me.
And we're so excited to introduce and share interviews and stories that inspire, guide, heal, and entertain.
We are Susan Douglas and Denise Lane.
Today's guest has spent a lifetime weaving together intellect, imagination, and insight. Dr. Michael Franzblau holds a PhD in physics from Yale, but don't expect an academic lecture. He brings science to life with storytelling, whether he's exploring string theory through cinema or guiding us towards better living with something he calls the Optimism cure. He's an educator, essayist, and the author of two wildly different and brilliantly connected books, Science Goes to the Movies and The Optimism Cure, How to Create a Longer, Healthier, More Fulfilling Life. So if you've ever wondered how black holes and hope might actually belong in the same conversation, Michael's here to explain it. Welcome. Let's begin.
Glad to be here. Very glad.
We're very pleased to have you here. We have a lot to talk about and cover with you.
We do.
Yes, because you've had a very long, fulfilling life. And we expect it to keep on going too.
Thank you. Let's all hope. We can only hope.
So, from physics to publishing essays, on everything from multiverse to biking, how do you introduce yourself these days?
It's a really good question. I feel like I'm in a powerful part of my life where I'm free to try things, and I have a lot of interests. But I had a strange career. Most of my friends, by the way, just became lawyers or whatever, and they did very, very well. And I have a short attention span. So I've had about 6 or 7 different careers in the last 60 years, 65 years. And that's a lot of fun. I think it renews my spirit to do that. I started out, as you said, as a physicist, a research physicist, and that I did that because I was interested in science. But we had 2 famous scientists in our family.
Yes.
One was a Nobel Prize winner, actually.
And their names?
See, that's going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. His name is Isidore Rabi, and he was featured in the movie about the atom bomb that just came out like last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's an interesting. He was one of my teachers at Columbia, but we didn't really get along. Oh. He's a brilliant guy. So I left Columbia with a degree in physics. And I went to Yale, where my brother-in-law had been a professor. This is all nepotism, as you can see, and became I guess a metal physicist is what it was. It took 4 years, and I did an experiment, and it was funded by the Navy, which was interesting. So all this high-pressure stuff, and it also saved me from having to go to Vietnam.
Indeed. Well, that was a good one. So a metal physicist, is that similar to a metallurgist?
It's very similar, yeah.
Okay.
I don't call it that, but I mean, that you can absolutely call it that.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it seems so esoteric now, but how high pressure changed the behavior of certain metals. And when that was over, I moved to California with my wife, my son, and the baby about to be born, and I worked for a couple of years on other physics problems. But what I really did is I learned to play the classical guitar, and I played it every night, every day for 3 hours.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Actually,
it was very intense. It was a wonderful time because there'd been so much, work and focus, and I had a lot of time there. So I joined I don't know if you want to hear all this, but I joined a kung fu club, and I learned how to fight.
Oh,
street fighting. And
yeah.
I did that for 2 years.
Yeah.
had grown up in Brooklyn, and I was a kind of small kid, and it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I was always afraid. So then I stopped being afraid.
Absolutely. So are those moves still with you?
Yes.
Do you remember it all?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I do them all the time,
Yeah.
and it's a really wonderful thing. But the great part of it was this losing fear, and that was my first experience of who I could be. And so that was all going beautifully, and then I had to leave California. The position was finished, and I came back to New York and took the worst job in the world.
Oh dear. I'm sure you didn't intend it.
I didn't realize that. It was a research house, but it was all about making our bombers better, and it became repugnant after a while. A lot of people left, and had one more a physics job, and then I said to my wife, I can't do this anymore. And we had 2 kids, and we lived in a beautiful little town called Larchmont. I don't know if you know it.
I don't know Larchmont. No.
Yeah, it's right on the Long Island Sound. It's about 20 miles above. It's very, very old, 1600s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's above New York City, and my wife said, "Why don't you teach physics? You know physics."
Yeah.
So I walked in, and they hired me on the spot, and I was there for 40 years, doing all kinds of
years.
a tremendous freedom. It's a community that had very prominent people, and we actually created a national model for a student-run school, which was quite interesting. Mm-hmm. And at one of the parent meetings, I met the president of NBC, whose son was in the program, and I said, "You should do a show about this." And there was somebody from Channel 4, NBC, in my office the next day, and we made it was about an hour broadcast, but the point of it was that it showed what was possible if you give students their way. And we had 120 students, and I was in it for like 4 or 5 years. It was student run. It was first name. We got invited to a Vancouver conference, and it was really amazing. I changed. It was another change.
Right.
Yeah, you write about that in your book.
Yeah.
And it's quite fascinating because it was innovative. It was ahead of its time, and then it seems like at some point the school said, "Oh, this is going well," and they picked it up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But there came a point where I could not bear being. It was too hard, because when you have a student-run school, and it really was. It was about 120 students, all bright and all assertive, and there was no hiding. You can hide. It's very easy to hide as a regular teacher, and but there was no hiding in this school. And I took for the first year, I came home. I bought a typewriter, and I typed a single space, page on what happened that day, and I have that.
You have that record?
Yeah, so one of the kids' fathers worked at Random House. He was number 2 at Random, and that's how it was in that town.
Wow, you must have launched this brilliant community out into the world. What an achievement!
Yeah, it was really, really amazing. So the thing was, I called it super learning, and so one of the editors picked it up, and she said, "It's really good, but we've lost so much money on the last 6 education books. We can't do this now." So it's still sitting, waiting to be,
Wow.
It's a long time now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is too lengthy for you, an introduction of what I did.
No, not at all. We just want to hear about you. Okay.
So it's nice talking about oneself. I haven't reached the foibles, so then my kids started college, and we didn't have enough money, so I changed careers, and I became a financial planner for educators. And I wrote a book about that.
So is that the educators? Were the colleagues that you were working with?
Well, yeah. But it was for the whole a community of teachers, public school teachers.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Teach and Be Rich. That's what it was called. It was a way to parlay your opportunities as a teacher into some serious money. And that was fun. And I gave talks on it, and I did that for about 5 years.
Yeah, well, it was very innovative.
Yeah, and then finally, then I came down with this serious cancer, prostate cancer.
I read a little about that.
That was scary.
Yes, I bet it was.
Yeah, you face your mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a wonderful experience with it, and it's related to this optimism. There's a segue,
Right.
a natural segue.
I want you to relay that story. I think I know what it is.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah, and please go ahead and just describe this whole episode.
Well, I was lying on my sofa in Larchmont one afternoon, and it came to my mind that my wife, I didn't have enough life insurance, which I was selling, and I said, "It's a strange thought because we really do," but I thought about it some more. I said, "No, I've got to buy some more life insurance." So I did, and I failed the physical, and that saved my life.
Right.
I got a call 2 days later, and the other agent said, see your doctor. So we went to the best doctors in New York. There were two very prominent doctors. In fact, one lived in Larchmont, had a wooden leg. It's interesting. So they were very negative. They were very pessimistic, and I needed optimism. I really needed it. So my what the big man said was to my wife, "I'll operate on your husband, and it won't work, and we'll close him up, and then he'll die."
Oh,
So we go
jeez.
ahead. So, so my wife was a choreographer and taught dance at a college, and she ran a dance company. And one of her colleagues' husbands had prostate cancer, and he found a place in Atlanta that had a radiation cure, and they accepted me. And it was really, really amazing. But what happened, the story that you want to hear is...
Yeah, I want to hear this.
This is like medical stuff, but you usually get these radioactive pins inserted near the prostate as a beginning thing. And I did that, and I was supposed to come back the next night. But my wife and I, we had driven down for this. We had some friends in Atlanta, and so we did that, and then we went out for dinner, and we got lost, and there was no GPS or anything. I mean, we were really lost in some crazy part of industrial part of Atlanta. So we didn't know what to do. So a man was walking across the street in front of us, holding money. A black man. Turned out he was from Brooklyn, like I was. And I called him over and I said, "Do you know how to get to the such and such freeway?" He says, "No." I says, "I'm lost also. I have a busload of women. I'm a minister, and I'm taking these women from and the bus broke down, and I'm trying to get it fixed, and I need $36. So can you give it to me? My church will come back around 11 o'clock." And I said, "Well, we can't wait that long, but we'll give you the money." And we start talking. He says, "Why are you here? Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Brooklyn." He said, "So am I." And I said, "I'm here because I have prostate cancer." And he said, "Well, why don't you let me cure you in the name of Jesus?" Nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn.
Yes.
And I said, my wife said, "Sure, absolutely." So he asked me to put my arm on his on the where
The armrest?
no on the door.
Yeah. Okay.
We talked about. And he grabbed my arm, and he started wailing to the sky, and he'd say, "Jesus, cure Michael. He's a good man." And every time he did this, my wife and I both jumped.
Yeah.
And after a couple of minutes, there's this strange energy in the car, and my wife said, "This is really something." And finally, he stops and he says, "Mike, you're cured." And my wife said, "You are."
My goodness.
She said, I feel this. And I was feeling it too.
Yeah.
And so we gave him the $36. And found our way home.
With great gratitude, I'm sure.
It was just amazing. But I think my optimism was sparked by this. And we were feeling something strange. And then I went into this clinic. There were 100 men from all over the world. And we all, it was a really wonderful experience, aside from the radiation. And many of them were born-again Christians. And I would go to church with them, and they wanted to hear the story again and again and again. Yeah. And when a new person would come in, they said, go over to Mike, you have to hear his story. And they tried very hard to convert me to Catholicism, but it was fine. We just had, I made some really, really good friends. And
can I just ask, at that point, you went and got the treatment.
Yes.
But you believed yourself cured.
Yes.
Was there any point where you thought, I'm not going through with this, I'm cured?
That's such a good question. No, I never questioned that, because it's like a Band-Aid and a sling, right?
Right.
What happened was that I wasn't. Pretty much everybody else was terrified, and I was so happy. And they said, "How are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, I've been cured by Jesus. We just have to mop up a couple of things." And so I spent 7 weeks there with these people, and I'll never forget them. And it was just. So while I was there, I started to write a book in the mornings. I'd call my wife and wake her up back in Brooklyn. Oh, no, in Larchmont. And so I had an idea that it would be really worthy of my time to teach parents how to get financial aid.
Yeah.
So that their kids can go to school.
Absolutely.
And I wrote a manuscript, and it was just a pile of paper. And it was readable, but it wasn't anywhere near finished. And I had met a guy who was a very, very successful broker. He would sell businesses and so on. And he said, why don't you come to my country club for dinner? And because my friend from California is coming in, he owns an infomercial company. So I met this guy. We invited all of our friends, and he said we should publish this. We should make it into an infomercial, but we need money. I said, how much? He said $450,000. This was a long time ago, 20
That's
years.
That's a significant amount of
Yeah,
money.
it's like $2 million now.
Yeah.
I said, so that's that. He said, no. We're going to invite all of our friends, and so are you, and families, and we'll raise the money. And I'd given probably 200 speeches by that time, so I was very comfortable standing up. And he said, why don't you talk about what this project could mean? And so we had a nice dinner, and we were sitting. And I said, my goal and my wish is to make every kid who would not otherwise go to college attend college and graduate, because money was no longer an object. And that's all I said. And so after a couple of minutes, a guy says, somebody raised their hand, and they said, will you sell shares in this project? I said, yes. He said, how much are they? They're $30,000. He said, how many can I buy? I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
And we raised $450,000 in 2 evenings.
Wonderful.
And I went out to, so now I left all of my other work, and I went out to Los Angeles and stayed there and worked with this infomercial company, which squandered and stole the money.
Oh.
I don't want to say
my
that.
gosh.
They squandered it. They didn't steal it. It was just... So, but I had a wonderful time, a really exciting experience. And now I'm like 67 when this happened.
Uh-huh.
And we did make a TV show, and they were surprised that it was. I mean, it was good. I knew how to talk about this stuff. But the project ended, and I thought that was my last career. But I went back to teaching physics in New York, and you may have read about the Malawi project.
The Malawi.
No, that's not really. So Robin, my daughter, who you know.
We have interviewed Miss
Yes,
Robin
I know.
O'Hare.
Right.
She
Well,
has
Peter,
been here in your place.
exactly. Peter, her husband, was at a scientific conference in San Francisco, and there was a man there, and he called me about this. He says, I met this guy named Jack something, but he has invented a peanut shelling machine.
Mm-hmm.
And John Brandis is his name. And I think you should talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you read about this?
I read about it in the book,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we contacted him, and it turns out that he said, Mike, I was traveling in Malawi and watching people, women shuck peanuts, which was the only crop. And they would sit in a circle on rocks, and they would chant. And at the end of the day, their fingers were bleeding, and they had 1 bushel of shelled peanuts.
Right.
So they said to me, this is to John, he says, you're an engineer, can you figure out a way to, accelerate this? And he came up with a machine. And it was the kind of thing you pour the shelled peanuts and you turn the crank, or you had a bicycle wheel. It's brilliant. And one person could shell a whole bushel in 1 hour.
But those women were very thankful.
Very thankful.
It's beautiful. it's beautiful.
So when I went back to teaching, they did need a physics teacher for the dropouts and the worst students in the. They have nice kids, but I walked into this classroom and there were 10 kids, and they said, Dr. Franzblau, we're happy to see you, but we are the losers in this school.
Mm.
And we started thinking. I told them about the machine. I made a project of the physics of the machine so I could teach them something. And we raised enough money. They were on board. We raised enough money to buy 7 machines and send them to Malawi. Chilumbo, I think it is called. So the principal who said, we're sorry we're giving you these kids, they're just terrible. But then the newspaper started writing articles about it. And that summer, some of the kids were lifeguards at the local beach in which I belonged to. And we were all smiling. I said, why are we smiling, walking around so happy? And it was because of this project. Mm. And what we figured out was that, you're not only feeding a village, but you're enabling their children to have an education and medical care, and then those kids will get married and have children, and it just goes on. I said, if you never do anything else nice in your life, this is a good thing to have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, help others.
Yes.
So it was really thrilling, and that was the end of my teaching, pretty much.
But you turned to writing through the teaching?
I just was writing the whole time.
The whole
since
time,
I was 30,
right? Essays for different.
I was fascinated with that. It was one of the first electric typewriters, and I had to put it in my attic and would write at night. And
right. And so you wrote articles for these publications, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it covered quite an array of topics.
Well, what happened was one of my doctors, a woman, we became friendly, and she said, my husband produces books, and he can help you if you'd like to write a book. I said, well, come on over, and we had some wine, and we sat there, and he says, yeah. So I hired this guy, mm-hmm. and we were together about 5 or 6 years, and he helped me with the first book, which was this Science Goes to the Movies.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful take on science fiction. Please do explain where you're going with this book.
Well, I was fascinated with astrophysics. What is the universe? How big is it? Where's it going? Is it the only universe? And I knew, because I had been teaching, I don't know if you know this, but there are a lot of parallel universes in this room. Did you know that? Right here, right now. And some are very similar to our Earth, our universe, and some are very, very different. And if you've seen, what was that movie? It'll come to me. But this has been well understood now.
Yeah.
So it turns out, instead of there being one universe, this is how many there are. It's a 1 with 37 zeros. That's how many universes there
Yeah,
are.
it's huge. And
And
is that quantum physics? Because astrophysics, quantum physics,
quantum physics.
they like blow our minds. I mean, it's so incredible what they've discovered.
Well, it all came
Yeah.
from something called string theory. And I don't know if you know what that is.
Now, I think we need that
Yeah.
explained.
Okay, yeah.
Because I did hear of string theory and I had to go straight to Mr. Google.
Right. Well, a number of astrophysicists, Michio Kaku is one of the big names, they posited that at the very bottom of creation, there are these little strings of energy, and they move around, and they're very, very small. This is how small they are. Those strings, compared to a hydrogen atom, would be like the hydrogen atom is to the universe. I mean, they're extremely small, but they form connections and so on, and they sing. It's like a musical thing. They sing reality into being here. So string theory posited that there are many, many universes, and so it answers the question. Of course, you've always been wondering. I'll tell you the question. I'm only kidding. How is it that we live on a planet at the right distance from the sun? It's called the Goldilocks distance. It's for us to be able to survive. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, and it's remarkable. And it's like, and then the formulas that describe the universe have constants in them, maybe 100, that have to be exactly right for this universe to exist. So how can this be? So you can say, well, it's God did this. Okay, all right, that's all right. But the real answer is there are enormous numbers, and I think this is true, enormous numbers of universes. It's like 500 million universes, mm-hmm. some big number. And and they're all different. But we happen. This one is friendly to life, so that's why we were able to see. You have to turn it around. It's not surprising. It's that, well, here's a steak. Go eat it. And so if that's true, and I think it is. Well, I was completely fascinated, and I taught it. There's some really good Columbia professors who made this understandable. Mm-hmm. We watched a video one morning in my physics class, and a student stood up and he said, "This is the most interesting thing I've ever seen in my life," and it really was.
Yeah.
So I wanted to write about that. I didn't know enough about it. Then a whole bunch of things. I was very interested in plate tectonics. Well, there's this different. But can I read you something from the book?
Please.
That I really like.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Sometimes you write. It's about the octopus. Did you see the?
My Teacher, the Octopus.
Yes, wasn't that a wonderful?
Oh, it's beautiful.
5 times.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's so there's a movie called Arrival. I don't know if you've seen it.
Most probably have seen a lot of movies.
Yeah, I can't remember who's in it. There's some famous people, Jeremy Renner's in, I think. And it's these mirrors appear everywhere in the earth, and you can look into them, and there's these 8 octopods, and they're trying to tell us something. So that reminded me of the octopus. So this is what I wrote. This is the beginning of it. It was a late afternoon in September. I was having a drink in a downtown Vancouver bar near the wharf with my friend Frank, a brown 400-pound gigantic Pacific octopus from the Gulf Islands off the town of Victoria in British Columbia. We had been meeting for a drink every month for the past year. So you see, it's
Yes.
I set up my computer and started Google Translate for our conversation. Did you know that Google offers interspecies translating for $14.50 a month? The other patrons moved away, giving us a wide berth as a pool of salt water had gathered around the legs of his bar stool. Frank tends to have that effect on humans. Frank told me that he had hitched a ride on the bottom of a shrimp boat from Puget Sound to the dock across the street. He even made a little joke. It was cheaper than taking an Uber. He's an impressive, not only for his size and long sucker-covered arms, but he's really smart, really, really smart. We were enjoying our drink. Can I read you a little more?
Sorry?
Want to hear a little more?
Yes,
Sure.
of course.
Yeah.
We were enjoying our drinks and chatting about baseball when Frank changed the subject. You humans can do some simple stuff. Now let's find out how you compare with an octopus. He sat back on his tentacles, took a bite of king crab on his plate, and recited what had to be a prepared speech. Mike, can you change your shape or your color and texture to blend in with any background? Can you mimic stronger species to avoid being attacked and eaten? Can you escape capture by emitting a smoke screen that duplicates your profile? If one of your eggs was severed, could you regrow a new one? Can you get out of a container that just has one hole the size of your head? Of course not, you pathetic human. As he spoke, the tip of one arm had attached a few suckers to my right wrist. That had happened before, so I relaxed. It felt affectionate. He sat back and, with what passed for a cephalopod smile, which I always found scary. So he asked, nothing to say, crabs got your tongue? And then we have a discussion about humans versus octopuses.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite book.
Oh, that's a great book.
That's fun.
It's
Yeah.
not dry stuff as much as I can make it interesting.
Right.
Yeah, we all love stories.
Yeah.
Stories,
Yeah.
it's so great.
Stories are
Absolutely.
great.
We have a book club. Maybe we'll ask them to
Oh,
read this
I
on
would
our
love
book
that.
club.
I've been trying to do that for 2 years, get into a book club. I don't know where you want to be going, but I think we should talk a little bit about the optimism.
Well,
Yes,
absolutely.
and I would love to hear your perspective on aging, since our listeners don't see you. And when I first met you out in the lobby, I'm like, you do not look 85. And you've had all these rich life experiences, and maybe you can tell us how to age well and what the overarching, as you reflect back on your life, what you see, the overarching way to stay optimistic.
It's a great question. I try to answer that in this book. Let me talk about optimism for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So there's optimism and then there's gratitude. They're like brothers or sisters. I learned how to be grateful. I actually took a course in gratitude in a company that I was working for, and I won a set of tapes, and I put them into my car, and listening to all this stuff, and I'm on the Merritt Parkway, which is it's a prominent road, very beautiful, and I start feeling. I said, "Hey, wait a second, I'm grateful for my car." I said, that I can, and then I branched out. I'm grateful for the country which enabled me to grow up and live in, and I went on and on. I was grateful for the people who built the road. I was suffused. I was absolutely captured by gratitude, and then a few years later, when I moved to New Jersey, there's a little park there that Hamilton worked at. He was running a battery of cannons for us in the Revolutionary War, and the cannons were there, and the miserable huts that the people had to live in, the soldiers in the cold of winter, and of course they lost that. That was they had to retreat. They couldn't destroy enough of the fleet of the what are their enemies? Who are they called? The British.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, right. So I immediately was suffused with another bout of gratitude. Here are these people who saved our country. I mean, if Hamilton hadn't been here, or something bad should have happened, we'd be in your country right now.
Oh, sorry.
We'd be run by the English, yeah. Colony.
So then I would practice gratitude all the time. I think that's one of the things. You can control your thoughts to a certain extent. So you can either feel gratitude, you can choose it, to be grateful, or to be pessimistic and not grateful. And then of course optimism is the sister of gratitude. Gratitude is things that we, is obvious, think about in the past, and optimism turns to we turn to our future, and they're deeply connected. So when I grew up, I will answer your question. It's the long answer. When I grew up in Brooklyn, my first 21 years, I was a complete optimist. I wasn't grateful. I was just optimistic. I had no thought about what was going to happen to me. I knew only good things could happen. And that persisted until I got my first job.
That's great.
It turned out it wasn't true. But it was a tremendous way to live and grow up.
Yeah, without a fear, without a care.
I wasn't worried about anything. We were, my parents were struggling to, make a living and stuff. But I just knew it was going to be fine. So I think the answer to the question is, because I'm living this right now. Knock wood, they got rid of the prostate cancer 20 years ago, and it certainly had effects on me that you can't get out of that for nothing, with no problems. But I have a wonderful relationship. I treasure this relationship with this woman. So July 4th will be our second anniversary.
Congratulations.
4th. Yeah, it's great. I had met her 6 years before, but I only spoke to her husband. This was a party, Robin and Peter. But she remembered me, and her son, who's in his 50s, said, "I want you to meet Mike," because she had just lost her husband. I had lost my wife.
Yeah, and meant to be.
Yeah, so he had a party at Seascape, and he rented an apartment, and she was there, and I met her that night, and we hit it off, and now we've been living together for 2 years, and it's very, very interesting. But what she did for me, and this is part of the answer, is her expertise was nutrition and health through nutrition, and she. The first day we were together, the first time she came into my apartment, she opened all the cabinets and threw away almost everything in them. So what are you doing? She said, well, these are either obsolete or they're dangerous.
Yeah.
And we started from scratch, and now I eat a very good, my cuisine is really good. We both love to cook, so we cook all the time, and it's very healthy. And we walk. She was a walker. She would walk 5 miles a day. She did that for years and years. I never did any of that, but we started to walk, and I would. So we did. And then I was involved in something called slow burn training. You probably don't know what that is. It's a little esoteric. It's a way of gaining strength and muscle in a very short time. With very interesting, you can do pretty much with anything. It's well known now.
Is it good for as people age? Because gaining muscle as we age is challenging because of the inflammation.
Yes, that's right. In fact, I watched a video this morning about that with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was very interesting.
Arnie.
The more muscle you can put on, the better you'll be. Do you know who Peter Attia is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's all about. That. So if you have a solid relationship, love in your life, people who you love, and can help, you know all this. You're outside in the sunshine. You're walking. And you have a purpose. I think that's the hardest thing, to have a purpose. I've been very lucky because of these books, and that's why I started another one. I need a purpose. But there's so many purposes. You can help people. You can build things for them.
Yeah, and you're very engaged in living, and so being engaged, it's easy. I think wouldn't you say it's easier to have a purpose if you're engaged and you see what people are doing and what they need and what you can contribute?
Absolutely. I haven't thought of it that way. When I was teaching, I knew I was helping people. It was clear, and there was no question about it. Now, it's a smaller circle, but I think the books will help. She and I were working on a spiritual cookbook about nutrition and cooking, and it's so beautiful. Life can be so beautiful,
Yeah, it seems like you've gone back to playfulness.
Yes, I'm having a very good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we laugh a lot. We'll have a wonderful dinner and then we'll dance.
Oh,
in front
that's
of the
lovely.
fireplace. Then we'll watch some television, go to sleep. But it's a great way to live, and I'm very, very grateful. So now I'm grateful for that, and I'm optimistic that it's going to last. And I want it to last more than the age of 95.
well, that's what I love. You projected in the Optimism Cure
Yeah.
to be the age of 100,
Yes.
right? And what is happening in your life at that point.
Yes,
I
that was
love
the last chapter.
Projection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you started out. May I read how you started out?
Sure.
I am an old man and have known a great many troubles, most of which never happened, by Mark Twain.
I love that.
Yeah.
In fact, I have 6 or 7 of those in the book, and I made a list of them today. Norman Mailer said a really interesting thing. He said there was that rule of life so cruel and so just that says you must change or pay more for staying the same.
Yeah.
I really took that to heart. It's because my whole life has been about change. I'm not reluctant to change. It's just it's really great.
Well, you've got to, involved yourself from your essays on biking. That has become a
Yeah, that's a great thing. I love that.
yeah. And you cite poems when you bike, don't you? And would you like to tell us about your favorite poet?
Oh, my favorite poet. Yes, we both know is Dylan Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Welsh poet. He's more than a poet. I love poetry, but when I started out at Columbia, my first, that's the first time I heard about Dylan Thomas. I said, this guy's really great. And so I bought his collected poems and I started reading them, and I still have that book in my bedroom, and I read it all the time. And as we talked, I keep finding more layers. He just, I don't know how he did it, but I was taking German and at Columbia, and my third-year German teacher translated all of his works into German, and he said Dylan Thomas was at the what's the name of the hotel you were saying?
Chelsea.
The Chelsea. He was at the Chelsea, and so my teacher walked into his hotel room, and Dylan Thomas was on the bed with a giant stack of comic books, reading one after another, and so he translated his poetry to German. Yeah, I think it's very important. I mean, my wife was a really brilliant choreographer. She ran a dance company for 45 years.
Yeah, your daughter talked about her.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And she had 2 loves in life. It was dance and the family, and it was really interesting. But she was also an artist. So she had a purpose that lasted until the week of her death. She was still choreographing and running a show. It was absolutely magnificent. I'm starting to feel the itch of another project, which is a nice feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because we can do all the other things, and we play ping pong every day. We do all kinds. We walk. We have friends, and
you cook.
And we cook. Oh my God! We made spicy cipino last night.
That sounds delicious.
Very good.
Yeah,
that's very good.
Are you on the Mediterranean diet, or?
She is. But what's happened? My craving for meat has changed. It's almost disappeared. and we sous vide everything. You know what that is? So you put the food in a bag and you put it in a hot bath. It's a whole big thing. What happens is it cooks perfectly. You can't overcook it.
Mm.
Then you take it out after a couple of hours, and there's a whole literature about this. It's a tank of water, and you put a thing that circulates it and heats it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a 5-pound turkey breast last night.
So, can you spell this so I can understand?
It's SOUSVIDE. It's French.
Okay, so
Oh, I have
Under
heard
vacuum.
of that.
It means
Okay.
under vacuum, but it's not really under
Yeah.
vacuum. And all we have to do at the end of 2 or 3 hours, and it's this certain timing, is take it out and then sear it, and then it's over.
Oh.
And it's soft and wonderful, and you can do it with vegetables. And chefs use it because they can't overcook it.
Right.
So they just pull it out of the container, and they use that little torch to put the crust, and they just serve it.
Right.
It's interesting. So I've learned so much about this stuff. So I think the cookbook it's more than a cookbook. It's a melange of who we are and what our needs are and what our accomplishments are and what we hope will happen. And sitting here talking to you about it, I think that's the one we should do. 'Cause we have all the
You've
stuff.
planted the seed now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're talking about some of the challenges of aging and how you have overcome them and what you suggest, what you recommend to younger people as they age. You've had a loss of love, which you have dealt with, and you've recreated it. There's health issues that you dealt with and have moved on and are biking and doing all kinds of physical things. What do you recommend for people as they age so that they can stay optimistic?
That's a great question. That is really the question, obviously. For me, it's finding something to appreciate every day.
It's back to gratitude.
Yeah, and I can call it active gratitude. Really go after
Active.
something and just. It's so easy to find these things.
Well, in your book, you have 31
Yeah,
recommendations.
right.
Right? You have 31.
That's a whole. Yeah, that's a compendium that I put this on because I didn't know 31 ways to make your life better. Right.
Yeah.
Suggestions, yeah.
Exactly. You have to hug somebody every day if you can do it. It's like that's important.
You got to find the right person, though. You've got to be careful with that one.
It doesn't matter. You just walk up to somebody. We take these long walks in the mornings. Rio Del Mar has a boardwalk.
Yes,
Right.
yes, I know it well, yeah.
Yes.
And we meet, and she has she needs an umbrella over her head if it's sunny.
Yes, keep the sun off, yeah.
So we're the weird couple. But we meet hundreds of people, dozens and dozens of people walking with their dogs and have a tiny. So it's amazing how you can, in a couple of seconds, you can just scratch somebody's dogs
Yeah.
head and then say hello to them.
Yeah. Well, I think we are pretty blessed in this part of the world, part of the country. People are wide open to meeting each other.
That's exactly right.
And not at every part of the USA is that the case. But here, people are just, very outgoing, want to be involved, want to know who you are. I've discovered that.
I did too. I was amazed.
Yeah.
Coming from New York or
Yeah.
New Jersey, it's not exactly screw you, get out of my way, but it's close to that. But here,
It's harsher, yeah.
the guy at Trader Joe yesterday, the man who was at the counter, we had a long talk. He started asking me questions about myself. It was so interesting.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, it happens.
It's not just like, how are you? Have a nice day.
No, it's more, and I think that's such a wonderful way to live.
Yeah.
So there are these 31. I haven't looked at them recently, but finding your purpose is obvious. Write a poem at least once a month. I read a lot of poems. I wrote a lot of poems to my wife and my girlfriend. It's make a list of the ways that you can help other people. I think I kind of missing the boat on that now. I have friends who sit with people in hospitals or hospices, and they read to them, and I'm so in awe of that. Mm-hmm. I think what happened to me is that after the long bout of cancer, and we really had a very hard time.
Yes.
My wife said something that I always remembered. She was in the last throes of the cancer, and she says, "I want to tell you something, Mike. I know I'm going to die soon, and I know you can't be alone, and I know you're going to find somebody, and I know you're going to fall in love, and that's great. The only thing is, don't marry her, and I already hate the bitch." You can't beat that, right?
No, you can't. You can't beat that. It's dead honest.
Yeah, right. So my immediate girlfriend would introduce herself as the bitch. But not this one. This one is wonderful. So, I think that you need daily routines. I'm optimistic. I look at my future and I say, this is going to work out. And if it doesn't, you know what, I'll do another thing. And we have all these choices. There's no downside to it. Alexander Bell, who created the light, had a lot of failures. So after 1,000 or 100, some big number, he was interviewed, and the woman said, the interviewer said, "How did it feel to fail 1,000 times?" And he said, "I didn't fail at all." He said, "I only found 1,000 ways it didn't work."
Yeah, isn't that great?
Right.
It's a reframe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
The reframing is very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so that's the story. Are we?
Yeah, it's great.
Right, and we're going to have to wrap it very shortly.
Okay.
But it's been great speaking with you.
Oh, I love speaking with you guys.
And whatever else you like to part with, please go ahead and tell us.
You seem to be wonderful people. I'm very happy to have met you, and I would love to do some talks about this. It's just fun to get people interested, and I'm kind of a junkie in that regard.
Yeah.
But
so I want to name your books again: The Optimism Cure.
Yep, and I'll get you a copy.
And Science Goes to the Movies. Those are two, at least we can get to know.
Yeah, there's two others, but they wouldn't be relevant. They're
right.
Technical books.
Well, good luck with the new edition, whatever comes up next.
Yeah, this has been very good for me because I'm energized and now optimistic about our ability to do this and do it well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I put it away for a while, but
no,
I'm going to pull it out this afternoon.
It's all there in hard fact material, right there.
Yeah, and change is good. It's good to be active, and it's good to have some downtime. Yeah.
Yeah, but this whole thing about embracing change is really, really powerful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been great. Really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, our listeners, for joining us and listening to our podcast. We appreciate you. Until then, it's Denise
and Susan
signing off.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.